Hello, everybody. This is Mr. Wilcox coming to you from my kitchen table. Today, we are going to talk about using scientific notation. Last week, we learned how to write things in scientific notation, and today we're going to do some math problems with it. So I'm going to pause here so you can write down how to multiply numbers in scientific notation. When you're ready, hit play again. All right, so hopefully you wrote these steps down in your notebook. So to multiply with numbers in scientific notation, what we're going to do is we're going to put, since multiplication has a property being commutative, which means it doesn't matter which order we do it in, we're going to put the numbers together, and then we're going to put the powers of 10 together, and then we're going to simplify. And then we're going to make sure that our answer is in scientific notation by making sure that the number being multiplied by 10 has a decimal point out front that starts with either a number 1 through 9. And if we have to move our decimal point to the left, we're going to add 1 power. If we have to move it to the right, we're going to subtract 1 power. So let's actually do an example so this makes sense. So our example is 1.1 times 10 to the 7th times 4.2 times 10 to the negative 2. So what we're going to do, like I said, since multiplication is commutative, we're going to put our 1.1 times our 4.2 together. And then we're going to put our 10 to the 7th times 10 squared together. So if we do that, then we can go ahead and simplify. And if we put 1.1 times 4.2 into a calculator, we get 4.62. And if we take 10 to the 7th times 10 squared, those are two exponents, or two powers with the same base. So what we're going to do is we're going to add our exponents. So times 10 to the 9th, because 7 plus 2 is 9. There's no reason to move our decimal point because our number starts with 4, which is a number between 1 and 9. So our answer is in scientific notation. So our answer here is 4.62 times 10 to the 9th. All right. Our second example for multiplying is actually taking a number in scientific notation to a power. So we're going to take 1.5 times 10 to the negative 3 and square it. So we're going to use our power of a product rule and go ahead and multiply that exponent outside by everything inside. So remember, there's a hidden exponent of 1 on our 1.5. So if we multiply those exponents, we get 1.5 squared times, and then 10 to the negative, and negative 3 times 2 is negative 6. And then all we have to do is actually find what 1.5 squared is, and 1.5 squared is 2.25 times 10 to the negative 6. So again, we don't have to move our decimal at all because our number in scientific notation starts with a 2, and 2 is between 1 and 9. So our answer here is 2.25 times 10 to the negative 6. So that is multiplying. All right, the other thing we're going to talk about today is dividing in scientific notation. So here are the steps we're going to use. So I'm going to pause here so you can write them in your notebook. And when you're done, just hit play on the video again. All right, so hopefully you've written these in your notebook. So the steps we're going to use today to divide, we're going to make the problem into two fractions. So again, we're going to separate the numbers from the powers of 10, and then we're going to simplify. And if necessary, we're going to move our decimal so that our answer is still in scientific notation. And then if we have to move our decimal to the left, we're going to add 1. And if we have to move our decimal to the right, we're going to subtract 1 from our exponent. All right, this will make a whole lot more sense when we do an example. So here's our example. We have 3 times 10 to the second divided by 8 times 10 to the sixth. So like I said, we're going to do what we did with multiplying, and we're going to separate our numbers from our powers. So we have 3 divided by 8 times 10 to the second over 10 to the sixth. So if we take 3 and divide it by 8, we get 0.375. And if I take 10 squared and divide it by 10 to the sixth, we're dividing two powers with the same base. So we're going to subtract our exponents, so our base stays the same. And if I subtract my exponents, 2 minus 6 is negative 4. Now in this case, I do have to move my exponent once to the left. And if I move it once to the left to get it to be 3.75, I have to take and subtract 1 from our exponent. So if we subtract 1 from our exponent, we get times 10 to the negative fifth. And the reason I had to move that exponent is because notice our number started with 0, and 0 is not between 1 and 9. But if I move it once so that 3 is the number in front of my decimal point, 3 is between 1 and 9. So the correct answer to this problem is 3.75 times 10 to the negative fifth. All right, so that's using scientific notation to simplify. So we multiplied and we divided numbers in scientific notation. I hope you are all happy. I hope you're all healthy. And I hope you all have a great day.